If you're under 30, you have a problem the size of a tsunami heading straight toward you. And you probably don't even see it coming. Right now, America's national debt is over $34 trillion and rising fast. That's not just a big number, it's your future paycheck, your taxes, your retirement, your children's opportunities. Countries, like people, can only borrow so much before investors say, no more. We've seen it happen in Greece. We've seen it nearly happen here. This isn't politics. This is math. And the bill is coming due on your generation. Nations go into debt the same way you and I do, when they spend more than they earn. The US government collects taxes, it spends on defense, healthcare, social security, infrastructure. For 2 straight decades, spending has crushed revenue. The result? A national debt that doubled under Obama, added trillions more under Trump and Biden, and now sits at levels not seen since World War II. But this time, there's no world war to justify it. Just decades of choices, promising more benefits, cutting taxes, and kicking the can down the road. Today, just the interest on that debt costs over $1 trillion per year, more than we spend on the entire military. And interest rates are still historically low. What happens when they rise? The government sells treasury bonds to investors, including China, pension funds, and foreign countries. Investors lend us money because they believe America will always pay them back. But here's what most people don't understand. Every year we run a deficit, we borrow more. That borrowing adds to the debt. The debt requires interest payments. Higher debt means higher interest. It becomes a snowball. Right now, we're borrowing money just to pay the interest on previous borrowing, and the financial equivalent of using one credit card to pay another. And because the dollar is the world's reserve currency, we've been able to get away with it longer than any other nation in history. But that privilege is not permanent. Look at Greece in 2010. Investors suddenly realized the country couldn't pay its debts. Overnight, Greece became toxic. Interest rates exploded. Businesses collapsed. Unemployment soared. The government couldn't pay salaries or pensions. Europe had to bail them out. The Greek people suffered for a decade. America is not Greece. We have the world's largest economy and the reserve currency. But the principle is the same. If investors ever lose faith, if they demand much higher interest rates because they doubt we'll pay them back, the consequences would be catastrophic. Mortgages would skyrocket. Business loans would dry up. A recession would turn into something far worse. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. This isn't just numbers on a screen. This is your life. Imagine you're 28, working hard, trying to buy a home, start a family, save for retirement. Every extra trillion we add to the debt today means higher taxes tomorrow. It means Social Security and Medicare, already facing massive shortfalls, may not be there when you need them. It means your children could inherit a country where a huge chunk of every tax dollar goes just to pay interest on debts they didn't create. How would you feel knowing your parents' generation had a great time? Big houses, nice cars, generous programs, but left you holding the bill? That's exactly what's happening. The people who should care most about this are young people under 40. You're the ones who will live with the consequences the longest. Seniors might shrug it off. You cannot. Economists say things get extremely dangerous when publicly held debt exceeds 175% of GDP. At 200%, it becomes nearly impossible to fix without massive pain. We're already at World War II levels. And unlike World War II, we don't have a clear path to rapid growth that pays it down. If interest rates rise even 1%, it adds hundreds of billions more per year. Investors are already getting nervous. After recent shocks, the dollar weakened instead of strengthening, a warning sign we haven't seen in decades. The crisis doesn't announce itself with a bang. It creeps up until suddenly it doesn't. There is still a path forward. Grow the economy faster than the debt. More jobs, more businesses, more tax revenue without crushing tax rates. Cut spending where it's unsustainable, especially reforming Social Security and Medicare for long-term solvency. Raise the retirement age gradually. Introduce more competition and choice. Raise revenue smartly. Close loopholes. Broaden the base. Make tough but fair decisions. A grand bargain where everything is on the table. Germany's community banks and focus on real productivity shows smaller, smarter financial systems can work. We don't need to destroy the system. We need to stop abusing it. The national debt is like the blob in that old movie. It keeps growing and too few people are sounding the alarm. But unlike the movie, we still have time. Your generation didn't create this problem, but you may be the one that has to solve it. Demand better. Understand the numbers. Hold leaders accountable, left, right, and center. Because this isn't about politics anymore. It's about whether America's best days are behind us or still ahead. Comment below. At what point do you think the debt becomes truly dangerous? If you want more clear, cinematic explanations of economics, money, power, and the forces shaping your future, smash subscribe and turn on notifications. The tsunami is coming. Let's make sure we're ready. See you in the next one.